Coming right up, Straight Talk with Art Levine. Our guest tonight, the director of the Pageant of the Masters, Diane Challis Davy.
Opinions expressed in the following program do not necessarily reflect the views of Charter Communications nor its sponsors. We recognize our obligation to present opposing points of view by responsible spokespersons. For information, please contact the director of program.
She stands in the face of evil and will not lose hope or faith. America, the land of freedom, is still the home of the brave. So raise the banner, call Old Glory. Let us join our fellow man. History will write the story. America will always stand.
Straight Talk is brought to you in part by Southern California Edison. For over 100 years, life powered by Edison. The Press Telegram, your local news leader for over 100 years.
Join us for tonight's edition of Straight Talk. And now your host, Art Levine.
Good evening and welcome to Straight Talk. We have a great show for you tonight. Our theme is the Pageant of the Masters. Our guest for the entire evening is the director of the pageant, Diane Challis Davy. Diane, welcome to our show.
Thank you, Art. It's a pleasure to be here.
I will be an unabashed advocate of the pageant. I've seen it half a dozen times in the last 10 years. If you haven't seen the pageant, go see it. If you have seen it, you know what I'm talking about. Let me just mention, it's our cover story on the current Straight Talk magazine. It runs July 7th through August 31st in Laguna Beach. And tell us what Living Pictures is all about.
Living Pictures goes back a long time in history. I guess you could probably say all the way back to the Middle Ages. With religious street pageants where people would do living nativities out in market squares. There were religious processions. Those are the earliest living pictures. And then it was picked up as a pastime in 18th century France, sort of a very elite form of entertainment. And eventually it made its way to the United States in the 19th century. And our own roots at Pageant of the Masters go back to Laguna in the 1920s when our little arts colony decided they wanted to put together a sideshow to attract people to the arts exhibit, which started in 1932. Our Living Pictures started all the way back in 1933 during the Depression.
Wow. Well, you won't believe it when you first see it. You cannot believe that these are real human beings because with the lighting and the set design, you swear it's just the painting. But it's a fabulous evening, and Diane has been the director of the pageant for the last 16 years. She's been with it ever since, she's been with it for 31 years, and when you were a youngster, as a 16-year-old, you were in it.
Yes, I really enjoyed being in Living Pictures. I had a role in 1976, and I was in a painting by Mary Cassatt. It was called The Tea Party, and I was a volunteer cast member, so that means I volunteered. I was in the show for 7 nights straight, then I'd take 7 nights off so that the alternate cast member could sit in for me. And all in all, I performed for about 3 weeks, got to meet great people backstage, had a blast, got my makeup put on and had a fancy costume to wear. And it was so much fun being part of a show that was a sellout show, and every night sold out show. That is so rare in show business.
They have to freeze for the minute or two that the spotlight is on them. Do you have to learn how to remain motionless for a minute or two?
Well, it's amazing how when you've got about 2,600 people staring at you, you want to hold still, you don't want to move a muscle. So even children as young as 5 years of
Wow.
age catch on right away, and they can hold still. So unless they sneeze or something, they're very well behaved. And it works out well. Most everybody can freeze and take a pose for 90 seconds.
Yeah. It's a very exciting evening. You have a full orchestra there in the Irvine Bowl, and a wonderful script narrated beautifully. And how does it all come together?
Well, it starts about 2 years in advance of the production. I have to come up with a theme a couple years in advance, and I start doing research. And this year our theme happens to be only make-believe. You mentioned our orchestra, professional orchestra of 30. They are wonderful, and so much of our music is original compositions. We have 6 very talented composers working just for us, composing that great music. Our script writer is Dr. Dan Dooling. He's been our script writer for the last 30 years.
It's a beautiful script, beautifully narrated.
Yes, and this year we are introducing a brand new narrator. Of course, we had, for 20 years, we had Mr. Thurl Ravenscroft, voice of Tony the Tiger, and then followed by Skip Conover for 17 years. And Skip retired this year. So Richard Doyle, who's very famous for his many productions for South Coast Repertory Theater in Costa Mesa. Anyway, Richard, we're welcoming Richard to our cast of characters down there, and we're really looking forward to his work because he's a wonderful actor and narrator.
You mentioned the theme, and we'll see some pictures of some of the pieces that will be in it, but only make believe. How did you come up with that theme?
Well, I started thinking about the tough times, economic hardship, and a general sort of malaise, and I think we need to get ourselves out of those doldrums.
Yes.
We can explore the land of make-believe and
Yes.
fantasy, science fiction. You know, Avatar was a very, very popular film.
Love
that
it.
just shows, I loved Lord of the Rings, that trilogy. So I'm a fan of science fiction and fantasy. So I thought, why not only make-believe, and we'll explore images that come directly from the artist's imagination, something
That
that's completely
is-
created by the artist.
That is wonderful. And you mentioned tough times. The 1930s, during the Depression, tough times, and people did escape to the movies.
Yes, they did. In fact, one of our living pictures this year is by Reginald Marsh. It's a picture of Depression-era times in New York on the street, and it's called Paramount Pictures. And it really does illustrate that idea that people need to escape through theater and motion pictures.
And a couple of years ago, you did that famous diner, that Depression scene, which was so
yes,
moving.
Nighthawks.
Yes.
Yes, by Edward
Yes.
Hopper.
Hopper,
That's
yes.
one of my favorite pieces. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Well, I'm excited about going to the bowl, the Irvine Bowl in Laguna Beach, and seeing this production this year. And I strongly urge all of you, and we'll put the website up at the end of the segment, if you haven't seen Pageant of the Masters, go do it. Do yourself a favor. It's local. You don't have to fly to Hawaii or anything. And it will be a memorable evening. And next to the Pageant Bowl, you have the Arts Festival with top artists and sculptors. Tell us a little bit about that.
Oh yes, our arts exhibit started in 1932 to expose the art of the local artists and to sell it during the Depression. There are 140 exhibitors this year. It is a juried show, so it's not just any sort of art from the area.
Yes.
It's the top-notch, the best quality art available from that area. And each artist designs and decorates their own booth. So 140, that's a lot of great art out there on the grounds.
And you get free admission with your stub from the pageant.
That's right.
All summer long to this art festival. Okay, we'll be back after these messages.
Supported by Edison International. Californians are getting to be old hands at year-round energy conservation, part of our special awareness of the resources we all depend on. We're making the change to energy-efficient light bulbs, keeping warm weather thermostats set to a comfortable 78 degrees, and giving major appliances the afternoon off. Because when it comes to energy conservation, it all adds up. Life, powered by Edison.
I want to improve my career opportunities.
I want to earn a higher salary at my job.
I'd like to finish what I started.
The new Bachelor of Arts in Liberal Arts degree completion program at Cal State Long Beach will help you achieve your educational goals while keeping your life in balance. Contact our customer service center at 1-800-963-2250 for more information, or visit us on the web. Let CSULB help you finish what you started.
This is Valerie Martin, sharing with you just one of the 100 centennial moments we chose to mark this special occasion. In 1903, the California Fish Company developed a method of steaming tuna to make it taste like chicken. Van Camp Seafood Company not only marketed the product, but also turned the San Pedro Bay into a leading commercial fishing center. Today, the port still is home to fishing vessels.
As your business searches for smart ways to save, don't forget about the one that's right in front of you. Switch to the Charter Business Bundle and you can save big without sacrificing a thing. Get reliable business telephone and high-speed internet with local support and great features. Power your business with great savings starting today. It's easy to pay less and get more. Call now and make a switch to the Charter Business Bundle.